Good afternoon. A Methodist pastor, a rabbi, a Baptist pastor, and a priest walk onto a ship. Sounds like it's almost a joke. And I say that because we're starting up this Memorial Day weekend, and I hope and pray that we all take the time to remember those who have lost their lives in service to their country and to our country. These four did walk onto a ship. They walked onto a ship in World War I. The troops were being sent from the United States over to Europe, and the ship was hit by a U-boat, torpedoes. And these four clergy never walked off the ship because the ship sank. Many times we remember those who have done something valiant. Pilot aces like Eddie Rickenbacker, pilot aces like Pappy Boynton, Chuck Yeager, one of my personal favorites. They didn't necessarily die in combat. We remember their service, their stories. We remember a lot of those stories. There are other names as well. Names like Sergeant York, Audie Murphy, Pat Tillman, Chris Kyle. We remember those names, those people who we call heroes that worked valiantly and fought for their country and died doing what they believed in. And we give thanks and praise for all of their, not only their service, but the people that we don't know that were on the front lines. These four clergy were on the front lines. They went down with the ship because they were tending to the wounded and the dying, giving last rites, praying with the people who needed comforting. But not a whole lot was made about their story. Yes, the story was back in its time, it made news. And in 1960, there was an award that was only given to those four posthumously. There was a stamp. But since then, time has forgotten those names. But they're not the only four names of clergy who died in combat. There are four more. Father Herman Fellholter, Father Emil Capuan, Father Charles Waters, and one that I have 1 degree of separation of connection with, Father Vincent Capodanno. He's known because, to me especially, because he was a priest in the Marines during Vietnam, and he died on the combat field. But a U.S. Navy ship was named after him, and I hold that as really important because my brother served on the USS Capodanno, and I got to serve with him for a brief period of time, and there was a lot of pride in that ship. And I used to really feel pride because it was the only ship in the Navy blessed by the Pope, Pope John Paul II, who came to Boston on his first trip and blessed the ship. So it was a very special time. History seems to forget or not name those people. But I lift them up to you today, and I don't lift just those people up. I lift up those people who were on the battlefield tending to the wounded. They're called medics or hospital corpsmen. Docs is what we always used to call them in the military. They weren't so-and-so, they were so-and-so. They were named Doc. That was their first and last name, and it was a name that was used out of affection. And we give thanks to all those docs who helped keep us healthy, who took care of us. So this Memorial Day weekend, I hope and pray that we remember all who died, those names who are famous, but also those names who might not be so famous. We may remember our loved ones, friends, family. And so let us look to that day, this weekend, as a remembering, an honoring. And then I hope and pray we start that unofficial start of summer and have a blast. Because it's because of them that we are able to enjoy our summers. So I thank you all. I thank all for who served and died in the service of our country. And I wish you a blessed and peaceful holiday weekend and a fun summer. See you later.